right, I have 7 o'clock on the computer. Call this meeting to order. Stand and say the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Alright, just a reminder, if you're wanting to speak during public comment time, to sign in on the legal pad on the podium. Alright, our first, we've got August minutes and the September claim docket in front of us. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to look at those.
I make a motion that we approve the August minutes and September claim dockets as they stand.
Okay, got a first motion? Got a second motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, we will now close our normal public meeting and open a public hearing on our 2025 budget. Any discussion on 2025 budget?
Nope.
Okay, no comments for or against. We will close our public hearing and reopen our regular monthly business meeting. And then we have to wait till next month to finalize the budget, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Was there any feedback from Mr. Vanderveen from DLGF on what you
Said it looked good.
Okay,
Said we probably wouldn't be able to do the excess levy.
right, we won't get that appeal.
No.
Yeah, I got that message also.
Yeah.
But it's kind of one of those pie in the sky things anyway.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll. Alrighty, old business, we have a painting lines in the parking lots. Up first, we're talking this parking lot right in front of, or by town hall, correct?
Yes. No.
Repaint
No,
those
across the
lines.
street. Across the street.
Oh,
Just
gravel?
In the gravel.
Gravel.
Do we have paint that will work on that?
Well, last month when we talked about it, so we can't paint it white.
Yeah.
So I got some fluorescent paint, and I got some wood to make forms, so I can draw, paint a straight line. And as soon as I get time to do it, me and little man will get with it, 'cause we got the thing cleaned up now, therefore we can do that.
And
Can we also look into repainting these lines on this, cause they're really faded
Yeah.
out here.
Yeah.
The
Paint-
8 parking spaces.
paint them fluorescent too. I get it.
Right. Those can be standard colors.
Yeah.
All right, any discussion on the painting of the parking lot?
How long is that expected to last, do you think?
On the gravel,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'd have to go, the Christian church did that. They painted theirs with fluorescent.
Yeah.
It's been, they've had theirs painted now for about 2 months and they're still real,
Still there.
people are driving on it.
Well, okay.
All right, North Salem State Bank hot dogs for music in the park on Saturday. John?
Well, that was for our last festival, or music is what I went
Oh.
and talked to them, and they were supposed to get back with me, and they never did.
Okay.
That was for when
Oh, I didn't
Southern
know.
Bridges
No.
played.
No hot dogs in the park.
Never mind.
There.
Not this
Alright.
Saturday.
Not unless,
Easy agenda item, check off.
yeah.
Check.
Like those kind.
All right, so, last month, Pete presented a quote from SpillSense on, putting flow meters in our sanitary sewer. We had some questions about whether or not these were reoccurring charges or one-time only fees, so Pete got in touch with
Patrick?
Patrick. Go ahead, take it away.
Okay. have an explanation if you wanna follow along with it. Got in touch with him and emailed him what I thought he meant, and he said that was correct. This page right here, I've got highlighted. Where it says web host 12, that's for 1 year. So if we wanted to go 5 years, which the global roaming is already 5 years, that was included in the quote, we'd have to add $1,800. And that would make it from $25,650 to $27,450. And everything would be paid up for 5 years.
Five years would go from 450 to 1,200?
No, it would take $1,800 to go the 5-year
Okay.
term.
So they're charging us $450 per year.
Per year.
Per year.
Whether we do a 1-year contract or a 5-year
Okay.
contract. We don't get a break
No.
or a discount for
No.
going with 5 years. And if we waited a year and re-upped it the next year, it would probably be $450 again.
Yes.
So we're not really necessarily saving anything or gaining any advantage by switching from a 1-year to a 5-year
No.
on that
Other than
web
that-
hosting.
Other than when you and I had the discussions, you thought it might take more than 1 year to figure everything out. And we're kinda getting stuck when you pay 5 years up front on the other. On the global roaming.
I would guess that if you don't do the web hosting, then it really, the whole system's useless, because that's where you're tracking your data.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
So do you have to do 5 years of the global roaming? Or is that just telling you that 5 years is 1,550?
The 5 years, 1,550, yeah, we had.
But you can do it by the year.
Well, no,
Well, if you have to do 5 years there, you might as well do 5 years of the web host.
right.
Duh.
Right.
They're just trying to confuse us. Okay.
All right, so any other questions on this bid for the flow meters for our sanitary sewer?
I'd like to know if Sean has any insight of this company or these floats or,
No, I don't. I've never heard of them, but I would just advise the board, I wouldn't think after 2 or 3 years, you would, you should be able to get all the data you need after a few years. I would assume. I mean, because you're gonna get your data, then you're gonna fix the areas that are bad. 5 years is a long time. But I mean, they're not giving you any other option, right? Because you can't do it each year, so.
Well, with the web hosting, we can.
Yeah,
It's the global roaming, we have to do 5 years.
I would assume anything over 3 years is, I can't see getting a whole lot of information in 3 years.
and this is the only company that we have looked into these floats.
yes.
Only company I know that even does it. It's not a very widely known thing. I got a feeling it's pretty new technology.
I just wonder, and I didn't think to ask this question. Say you say we pay it all up front, and after 3 years, we decide we're done. You suppose I'll get back in touch with him and say, hey, we get a refund for the last 2 years?
Probably not, because
Yeah, if you had the contract with them, if they'd agree to it, they'd have to.
Is this something that IBM is telling us that we need to do since we've had so many, things, or whatever you wanna call them?
Well, I mean, no, IDEM is not saying we have to do this. IDEM is saying you have to fix your INI. I mean, that's,
Right,
they're pretty adamant that
right,
They-
and that's,
the last
that's
7
the
times.
reason for this.
Right, so when not the last violation letter we got, but the one before that, I went to the Google and I said, how do I fix INI? And this company popped up as a company that we diagnose and fix INI for people, for towns. And that's how I found them, and I contacted them, and they said, yeah, we do this all over the world. I mean, they're in Europe and United States. So, and this was actually, I mean, that project that George was doing with his friend, this is what they were trying to develop.
Mhm.
And he was trying to develop it because he couldn't find other places to do it. We don't have access to that project anymore, so this was the next best thing I could find.
So does, because I wasn't here last meeting when you initially discussed it, do these go in different places? Can we move them around? Is that how it works?
Yeah, so we looked at purchasing 10 of these, and that's what is on the quote, and then
Right.
they would drop them down in manholes, just, we could pick which
Right.
10 manholes we think they should go in, and then as it collects data, you move them
Uh-huh.
towards problem areas, and then you've kind of isolated your
Sure.
biggest INI issues. Of course, we know one big area is over here between C1 and D1.
Right.
But it's a matter of, according to the camera inspection that GRW showed us after we did our lining back in 2020, we have lots of areas up, Ader, York, those kinds of areas that are
But 5 years is
full of roots and full of
22,
leaks.
50.
Right.
But he said 1,800.
I don't know where that's going.
Did they give you any other, towns that
Cause I
That
he
may
said
have-
1,800.
have, sold this system to?
5 years?
But I can
Oh,
get in touch with email.
I just wondered, cause they're out of
Added.
Pennsylvania, I'm thinking,
I don't know.
if we have a problem.
Well,
But if you could do 5
their
years.
sales rep, Patrick, he lives in Zionsville, so he
Okay.
doesn't live in Pennsylvania.
Okay,
That's what I mean.
1 year is 450.
okay.
Add
Yeah,
1,800.
my first conversation was with a gentleman
Oh, add
in
1,800.
Pennsylvania, but then he said, I got a guy that lives just up the road from me in Zionsville, and he put me in touch with Patrick, and then
Okay.
Patrick met with Pete and I a couple of times.
If we did get it, and we do have a 5-year contract, and we're up with our data in 2 years, 3 years, we figured out where our problems are, we could probably lease this or rent it out to another community,
That's actually not a bad idea.
and that way, we can get our money back out of it from the other community. They can actually use the system, because it's not tethered to being in Clayton. I mean, it's, it can be anywhere. So,
And I could probably broker something between the town of Monrovia and you guys, they could
Yeah.
possibly use it every year or something. Or even Morristown or some of the other parts.
I don't know about that.
I was just getting ready to say that.
John, see you.
As long as the company's okay with that.
I wouldn't see why they wouldn't be. I mean,
Yeah.
we're just collecting.
And Jenny, since this money is coming out of the sewer account, we're probably okay
Yeah.
with this.
Yeah.
I'd be good with doing that then, and then we can look at doing when we're done with it, we can then look at getting our money back out of it.
Sure,
so that,
that's
you know,
always an option.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, any other questions or discussion?
So Need a motion.
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we accept it.
All right, I got a first motion.
I'll second the motion.
Got a second motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. All right, get in touch with Patrick. Okay. Let him know. All right, next item on the agenda, sidewalk at Corner Liquor.
Okay, I talked to Jimmy this week. He's been sick. He was gonna try to make it to the meeting tonight. He said he's willing to do whatever it takes to get it right. But still not well enough to, he called me about a half hour ago before the meeting, said he wasn't gonna be able to make it, so. As soon as he gets well enough, he's gonna get with me and we're gonna try to tell him what he needs to do to get it right. And the first thing I asked him about was the post. He said he'd take them out.
Maybe use a level on them next time.
Yeah.
Half of them are.
Maybe the guy that was using the level couldn't see well.
Yeah.
Could be. All right, anything else on that? Sidewalk. All righty. Pinner property.
All right.
You just,
Got that little explanation there. You might wanna read that. Try to get that in your mind what I'm trying to say.
So in short, James was concerned that the amount we were purchasing wasn't gonna be enough for the road width we wanted. So we went, Pete and I went down there and we looked and, you know, with the, if we were talking about just the road and adding to it, it would have been fine. But Banning did their survey from the property line, which makes sense, but there's utility poles
Yeah.
along that side of the road, so you can't pave all the way up to the property line, because you can't have people driving into utility poles on purpose. So, we said, well, we've gotta change this. So Banning said, okay, we'll, amend the paperwork to the tune of $1,000 to add the additional 22 feet, or the additional
Be 32 feet from the
feet
property line.
From the property line. So we'll have 22 feet of road.
Right.
Is that gonna change what we are gonna pay to Mr. Pinner?
Yes.
Yes.
They're gonna redo the numbers
Uh-huh.
to account for the extra land we're purchasing from him.
Okay. Okay,
10 more feet, basically, so, down that whole stretch of the road.
all right.
Which they don't have those numbers yet.
Right.
I talked to him this afternoon, or to Manning.
Alright, so we'll wait till we get those numbers to revisit that. Alright, Regan Street update.
Okay, I talked to Dan Ladd earlier this week. All the signatures are done, we have all that done, and the permits and everything. And they're getting a contractor to see if this can be done for under $150,000. And when he gets that, he says they probably won't be able to start the project till next spring.
Under 150?
Yeah, they're trying to get a contractor to
Okay.
do it for under 150.
Which does simplify things a little bit, because then we don't have to go to
Right.
the sealed bids stage.
Does the amendment to the agreement have to be paid now, or can it be paid when the new amount for Pinners?
The property estimate,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a good question. Let's ask Mark. I don't-
Yeah, I'll call Mark tomorrow.
I'm
Okay.
guessing that they probably would be okay with it. being paid all at the same time. All right, next item on the agenda, speed bumps in Gilbert Woods.
Well, we got the radar signs up. It wasn't working. I had all the batteries tested.
Yeah?
They're bad. Every one of them. I don't know what would have caused that, unless being in the garage for a year. But,
Not being charged.
yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I got some batteries coming, so we can get these things going.
Okay.
Should be here first of next week.
Yeah.
Very good. And then camera inspection and cleaning.
Okay, got those. Same two companies, and I got another estimate from, FWS, because the CSC was doing the entire system, camera and cleaning. So I got the same kind of estimate from FWS. And theirs, FWS was higher than CSC, but FWS is the one that told me told me that he would want a camera first and then just clean the ones that needed cleaned.
Yeah.
Rather than do the whole system. So there's no other way of getting a true estimate on that until the camera.
So the FWS is just camera it first and then analyze, there's no part of the cleaning in the FWS?
For the 40,000.
Okay.
Okay, but if you go on to you give me another estimate. The total is camera and jet clean the entire system was 98,890 versus
Okay.
86,120.
Jenny, do you remember anywhere, like, back in our
Back in the
recesses,
day.
when Mason Private Locates did this for us, about what, that was in 2019, I think, so,
I remember when they did it,
I don't
but
know.
wasn't it included in some kind of, wasn't it included in the bid from GSW, or I'd have to go back and look and see whether we paid
Oh, yeah,
them.
that's a good point, I hadn't thought about that.
I don't remember. It seems like,
It was all part of the
it
whole same
seems like it
package
was all
thing.
part of that thing, but I'm not sure. But I'll go back and look.
And when you talked to him again, Pete, did you have them omit the pipe, that we just recently had lined? We don't need a jet clean?
No, when I talked to him, I wanted to get an accurate.
Okay,
Between, I said, the entire system, just.
gotcha. All right. I'd be curious what the change has been from when Mason Private Locates did it, if you don't mind, Jenny, looking
Okay.
that up.
Okay.
on, in between all your other juggling of
Yeah, no problem.
things here in town, so. All right, any other questions, comments on camera inspection or cleaning? All right, new business, let's see here, let's do transfer of funds first.
Okay. When we cashed in the CDs, because of the interest, one CD was more than the other one. So, where's my transfer of funds? So we need to transfer $914.82 into the investment because we made them both $7,000 equal. So we were $914.82 in the hole because of
Okay.
that. So that's what we need to transfer the money into the purchase of investments in the local road and street fund.
Okay,
Well, I make a motion, we transfer $914.82 to the investment.
all All right, that's, we got a first motion,
I'll second.
got a second motion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, permit modification for IDEM, there should be a, bid somewhere here from Meetng.
Oh, man. No,
Banning
that's
asked
not
me if with the permit modification based on that last IDEM violation, if they wanted that to be a separate project build or just under our line item hourly.
Uh-huh.
I said, well, submit a bid and then we'll figure it out. I don't see that printed out. Did you? Not print that one out too. Bid for the permit modification.
I have one.
You have one?
Mhm.
She has one.
This one?
Yep, work order,
Okay.
yep.
Okay, so somebody has one.
Yeah.
I have one.
I don't know where I did with mine, it was probably here somewhere.
Here. Pass that one down.
That's all right, I don't need to see it, but,
Never mind.
it's essentially in order to, apply to IDEM to, modify our permit to include the changes that have happened at wastewater treatment plant, over the last couple of years that weren't included in our permit application. They need to do some engineering magic with that apparently, so they submitted a
Yep.
bid.
I met with
Josh?
yeah,
Well, it
Wednesday.
didn't really have a price on it.
And basically what they need to
Do
do
you
is go
see
through our
price
whole
on it?
permit, find out exactly how much
I don't think this is it
treatment
either.
each tank's able to do. We'll have to change our capacity limits and stuff, because you're taking this older tank completely off and using it as just an overflow. Now, as the town grows or you get bigger and have to utilize that tank, we can, in the future, do another permit modification if we have to, and get that back included with the permit. But for the way we're doing things right now with infiltration and stuff, it just makes more sense. to
If
do
we
it this way.
fix our I&I, then there won't be a problem to
Right.
make it a package plan.
This doesn't have a price on it, so this can't be it. This just has the
Schedule fees.
schedule of fees. It says update wastewater treatment plant permit, but there's no cost anywhere except for.
It's free.
There we go.
Of course.
I'm kidding.
Hmm.
All right, well, I can talk to Josh and get
Okay.
him to redo that so that it's a clear.
I think it's probably the cheapest hourly rate on here though, probably.
Okay. Very good. So we'll come back to that. I'll see if I can get Josh to update that for me. All right, next bid that we got from Banning, that one should have related to GIS regarding, they worked on last year apparently, which I didn't realize this, but at some point, either
I don't think I have that.
Pete
either.
or Jeff, either when he was here, asked them to work on our zoning map. So they did a full GIS zoning map, it's interactive, it's actually a very nice map. We can include in it, things related to, what each zone, description is, what is permissible, in each zone as far as, use of your property, that kind of stuff. So they said that, they would charge us $3,900, for us to, it's already completed, but they would allow us to publish it on our website and allow us to, work on any modifications that would need to happen over time, whether zones have changed or our UDO changes or any of those kinds of things, they would update that.
That would include corrections?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
When I talked to Brad today about this, and he told me it was in draft form right now.
Yeah, they would have to formally publish it, which they do that to keep me from stealing it without paying for it, but, yeah. Any questions or comments on that? This would really help our planning, commission and our, when Pete, works with, realtors who call him and say, what's, this property zoned as, and what's that mean? He could direct them to this map. Some of them probably already, look for that kind of stuff on town websites, because other towns do this, and they could just click on the property that they're looking at, and it would bring up a window with links to our UDO and what's the approved use for this property and those kinds of things.
As Doug mentioned, it would be very beneficial to the planning committee because we just need to get some official information about what is zoned and what is not correctly zoned. So I'm all for this.
Did they do this in IMGIS or did they do this separately? Is this a whole separate thing they did for you guys?
Yeah, this is not IMGIS.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Let's see. Any other questions, comments, discussion on this GIS zoning map? Do you want to?
I'll make a motion that we accept this 3,900.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, got a first and second motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, very good. All right, and then I don't see this next bid anywhere here in front of me either. Sorry, I thought I got these, but this one was from Banning Engineering, their planning, guru. She, came to one of our, planning meetings, or actually August, planning and zoning, meeting, and, she would, help us by updating our UDO and our zoning rules, making them fit kind of our, what we actually do in practice. Some of them kind of have some antiquated language. For instance, we have, one of them says approved use in the town business district. You could have a nursing home, but you could not have a retirement home. So I don't know what the difference there is with that, but, so anyway, they would help us comb through all that stuff and kind of clean up and fix it to, what does our town, want to approve and not approve. In fact, right now, this daycare center that's operating next door to us, is not approved in our UDO. But they're there doing this, and I don't wanna kick them out, I just wanna fix the UDO to say they can be there. Just makes sense to make the UDO comply with or fit with what actual practice is. But I don't have that printed out, so I'll have to revisit that, next month. I'll make sure to have it printed out. All right, next item on the agenda, so the Daughters of the American Revolution emailed saying, will Clayton participate in the military banners for next year? So they ask every year for this, and we've been doing this now for about 3 years. So do we want to participate again for the 2025-26 season for them?
Are their requirements still the same?
Yes.
I'd say
Yeah,
yes.
Rhonda Backwood,
Back.
email us, a statement to put out on our
Yeah.
Facebook page and website, asking for, people to contact her to order their banner. Their only stipulation is that, the person that you put on the banner and display has to have some connection to the town. They don't define what that connection is, but.
In past banners that have been up, those don't go back up unless they are
Correct.
sponsored again?
You have to put a whole
Yeah,
new.
you have to buy,
they do a whole
you have
new
to buy a
one.
whole new
Okay.
brand banner
Yeah.
to do that, we
You
tried.
can't even pay the price, pay the year and keep it up.
Right.
You-
We tried that
Didn't
last
work.
year.
I tried, it didn't work.
Wow. Okay.
I think she needs to advertise better though, cause I don't think anybody even realized, we didn't, they had one this year or something. I don't think there's enough advertising.
Right, and some of that could have been just that I missed her email or something. I mean,
Yeah.
she emails me when it's time to post, and then
Yeah.
if I didn't see it or whatever, then we just have to make sure to get it. But I'll try to watch more closely for her email, and maybe I'll email her and say, hey, if I don't reply, email
Yeah.
me again.
And I don't remember, there was something about if we wanted to put up Christmas flags, banners, whatever, we could take these down, we have to call her. or
You have to
something.
call and get permission to take them down for like, it's not for very long,
Yeah.
yeah. But I don't think there was ever enough that it really mattered.
Yeah, I
That
think
one year there was 18 maybe?
The first year it was 18,
Yeah.
so we had them all up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think you had to get permission from them to take them down, and then they could only be down for like 2 weeks or
Couple
something,
weeks,
it wasn't
right.
very long.
So we would wanna make sure that we put those in a place that we're not wanting to put Christmas decorations.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so we'll email Rhonda back and tell her we're good to go for this next season. All right. Okay, very good. All right, I got Sean Massengale's up next. Your turn.
Got the month of August's report for us. Wastewater received was 3,021,000 gallons, an average flow of 97,500 gallons a day. Received 1.6 inches of rain and was at a plant capacity of 32%. Our removals were good. We did not have any violations. We wasted 32,800 gallons and processed 24,500 gallons of biosolids. Does anybody have any questions on any of that?
How come in June and July there is no solid treatments? Is that just not done every month?
Well, when I first started, it was really low, so there was no reason to waste, so I was just kinda holding off, letting the microorganisms remultiply before I wasted it, so that would be why. As far as our projects go, we're still looking at changing the gas over. Like I said last time, it doesn't seem like it's gonna be cost effective to do that, so I don't know how far we'll, get into that. I did talk to the electrician, he's gonna try to meet me out within the next couple of weeks at some point to look at the VFDs, or look at, installing timers on your blowers to save cost. We are using the new dumpster now. We did get that pulled out. We got a hold of somebody that'll dump it and get us a different dumpster. We're working with Jenny on that. BBC's ordered the parts and equipment to install the alarm system, and we're still waiting to get back with them to schedule it. And we need to we're gonna research quotes for an SCBA in case we ever have a gas leak.
Alarm.
We got
The
fixed.
alarm got fixed.
Yep.
The Living Waters finally came out.
Sensor was bad.
Okay. So,
Again.
Mike, I mean, I'm gonna put you on the spot here with that. So, what's their normal turnaround if you call them and say, I have a bad sensor, for them to come fix it?
I have no idea. Probably a week or so.
Well, that took longer than a week.
Right.
When this one went bad.
Right.
And this was, I mean, they had just fixed it a month ago.
Right.
So, to me, it seems like that alarm's pretty darn important. If you have a
Yes.
gas leak in there and you walk into that room thinking,
Right.
oh, it's just a bad alarm, I mean, we're
Yeah.
gonna be dragging you out with a rope.
Right, exactly.
So, I don't want that to happen.
Well, sure.
So, I mean, what do we need to do to get
Hopefully
Living
this-
Waters to respond better to, we have a bad alarm, we have a bad sensor, which is unsafe?
Right, usually sensors don't go bad, so not very often, so.
And this is the second one that we got go
Right.
bad.
It's a fluke thing,
Is this on chlorine?
sulfur dioxide.
Well, using that instead of chlorine then?
Yeah, oh, well, it's both, it's one's to take the chlorine out, one's to put the chlorine in,
Yeah.
so. But yeah, I can try to talk to them about, trying to respond faster.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, sulfur dioxide has a nickname of three-step gas.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's dangerous.
you walk into that room and
Right,
you're just
yeah,
devastated. So, it just seemed like that took a really long time for them to respond to fixing this alarm. And that was one of the things we got dinged on from IDEM.
right,
When they came out and they fixed it that day, that was in
Mhm.
August, and then suddenly this one went bad again.
right,
So it's just, I'm just really wanting. I mean,
better timing.
Yeah, anybody that's out around that building, could
Right.
get exposed to that, and I don't wanna see that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, if you could reach out to Living Waters and just say,
Sure.
this has gotta be
We need a
some
better
kind of a rapid
response.
response
Right.
when this.
Or a better sensor or something?
Yeah,
That would,
something.
that would be preferable, sensors that are not
Right.
gonna go out twice
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
a matter of 2 months.
Do we need a secondary sensing system?
I don't think so. Again, I think it was a fluke thing. I don't know if this sensor was sitting on his truck for a while, and that's why it went out. It only worked for like a week or two, and then it quit working, so. It's a weird occurrence. We'll see how it goes from here, but yeah, I will talk to him about getting a better response time.
All right, and then, we talked about the dumpster, and,
Yes.
so Jack's isn't gonna provide dumpster service anymore, or they
No,
are?
they're not.
So they're not?
No, they're gonna go ahead and cancel the contract with no cancellation fee. And so we're just not gonna do Jack's because they don't have a front loader. And, so I called Waste Management, and Waste Management's gonna start doing it now for us.
And what,
We just,
did
I
they give
need
us
to-
a,
I'm conversating with Jenny through email, and
so
we'll.
did they give us a price on what they're?
It's
gonna charge?
$138 a month, but you gotta pay a little bit extra for that
Yeah,
biohazard.
and that's dumping.
It was like double from Jack's, that's why I was trying to
Yeah, we're trying to get the cheapest.
get the cheapest, and I didn't know it was gonna be a gas
With
stove.
that type of material though, it's hard to, there's special disposals.
There's liners they have to
and
use.
stuff with it, so.
Well, even with the front end loader, would they be able to get in there and
Oh, yeah,
and get to that underneath the hug?
sure. Yeah, we've got it
It
moved
won't
out
make it
now.
accessible
Yeah.
to
Where
them.
it's accessible for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and then we talked about the algae buildup.
Yes, we've cleaned some of that off. Tomorrow I'm gonna be out, we're gonna clean the rest of it
Okay.
and pressure wash the clarifier and replace that, or not replace it, but reattach the skimmer.
Good, okay, yeah, the skimmer is definitely
Yeah,
needs to be on there, so.
yeah, it came off throughout the week. We fished it out of there because I didn't want it to fall down into the clarifier.
All right, any other questions for Sean?
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you. All right, Chief Remender, you're up next.
Good to see everybody.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Hello,
Are you gonna reintroduce yourself?
Tom Remedier, Chief of Police.
It's been 48 days.
I just want to give a shout out this Saturday. D&D had a public safety fundraiser, and they donated to the police department $339. I think it's just the third year that Nick and his wife have done that. I see John down there all the time, so it's just really, they're really good to both us and the fire department, so. I wanted to give a shout out to them. Also wanted to give a shout out to my, Brian Dubner filled in my absence, Captain Dubner, and just, hopefully did a good job for you guys, giving you some information in my absence. I got 2 new hires here. I got one that's, been sworn in, one that is still got a conditional offer, but, his background should be finished up here. The first guy I'd like to introduce is Sam Wilson. We had a really competitive process. We ran it, how long ago did we start? A couple of months ago. Really had some great candidates, actually. There's a couple out there I'd still like to hire, but it's just difficult to train them with the minimal training officers that I have. I'd like Sam to stand up, kind of just give a little bit. Sam, will you tell us a little bit about your family and what you kind of do? Sam doesn't have any background in law enforcement. He's actually new, but he did so well in the interview process that we're really excited to bring him on board.
You hired him because of that mustache.
It is a cool mustache. I'm kind of envious.
Didn't think it would get me so far. Yeah, Sam Wilson, born and raised in Crawfordsville, Indiana. I now live in Ladoga, Indiana, with my wife and 4 kids. We live on a youth ranch out there. I work for the U.S. Concealed Carry Association, so we provide liability insurance for those who carry, and then also provide firearms training, both digitally and in person. Yeah, don't have background in this, but here to learn, and I've got plenty of people to learn from, so yeah, I'll do my best.
Thanks. The other gentleman is James Vastag. James got over 27 years in law enforcement, so we got the kind of extremes here.
Yeah.
And so we've sworn James in already, and James is gonna do a lot with, so while I was off, I did a lot of policies. Graham would appreciate that. Kind of, you guys have heard lately here in Plainfield, a lot of Indianapolis just came out in Plainfield and had some police action shootings. And so I've gone over our policies and police action shootings, evidence, and that's gonna be something actually that James is gonna take on for me. He's done a lot of training, and so I'll let James he got a very similar background that I got, actually. I don't know if you guys know or not, but I owned the counseling business for like 20 years. James has also been a licensed marriage and family therapist for a number of years. I'll let him kind of go into that.
Thank you. My name's James Vastag. I'm a full-time police officer for the last 27 years. This spring made a shift, going back into the counseling realm, working in marriage and family therapy, and also a member of the training team for marriage, not only marriage and family therapy, but as well as mental health first aid. So working on the mental health side of things. And in my role with IU, I've been an admin lieutenant the last 6 years and patrol lieutenant, so pretty much the jack of all trades. I did a lot of project management, project development, evidence room, fleet management, radios, uniforms, you name it, pretty much helped to run that department. And now moving back into the mental health field, where there's definitely a huge need for that, and definitely post-COVID. So looking at that, cross-training, was using that to help train police officers. So now hoping to help Town of Clayton and Thomas with the police department, and with evidence, and with quality control and policies and all that. So married 24 years, have 3 adult daughters. The youngest one just turned 21 this summer, and live in the northeast side of Marion County.
So if you're in need of firearms training or counseling, get a hold of us.
Or both.
Oh, yes, Graham? Yeah, Graham has been consuming a few runs here lately. Yes, James will fill you in on Graham. So these are 2, we're really excited. Like I said, I really have 2 other guys. One guy works for the fire department, and another one is another local kid that I have on the list. And I hope once I get these guys through training, honestly, the training is gonna take, for James, obviously, it's a little bit different, right? He's worked for an agency for 27 years. It's gonna take a guy that's never had the training. the minimum training the state requires is 24 hours. So, I mean, a 40-hour pre-basic, but then the FTO process is roughly about 3 to 6 months for a full-time officer. So you can imagine for a reserve officer how long that's gonna take us to do that. But I have 2 other guys that I really wanna bring on too. They're just, one's a local kid and then one works for the fire department. So I have them on a list, and hopefully once we get these guys through, I'll bring those 2 on to give us a little bit more coverage as we get, in my short 3 years that I've taken over here, we're getting busier every year. Every year you can see our run load get a little bit busier. And for whatever reason, the last 2 weeks has been pretty busy. We've been getting a lot of runs in town. And Graham's been consuming a few of those, unfortunately.
Job security.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's obviously, everybody probably realizes he's back to drinking a little bit, and so when he starts drinking, so hopefully we can connect him with some resources and get him some help that he needs before, he gets too crazy, unfortunately. We have the last Music in the Park this, Saturday. I guess the last Music in the Park was really good. This one is gonna be geared towards, kids, I think a little bit, so the band is geared towards kids a little bit, but we have a lot of stuff set up for that. So we got that on Saturday.
You're gonna make a lot of Star Wars
Yes.
adults mad by saying that's
Well,
for kids.
That's true.
Because
And
there
my
are
own kids would
a
actually, my
lot
adult kids would be
of
upset
Star
with me
Wars
too.
fans out
That's
there that are
true.
my age.
So Doug's gonna come dressed, probably.
Yeah.
That's true. So we're kind of excited about this. We've actually got some great feedback on this, so hopefully this one will be a success. And we've actually talked, we've had some just great help, from some folks in the community to do these things, and so hopefully we just keep building on these things. Like I feel like the Christmas last year was just phenomenal, and so a couple of the music parks maybe haven't been as busy as this last one, but I think this one's gonna be good. We're also talking about a trunk or treat in the park, so we're in conversations with that. So we're not gonna do that on the actual day, but we're thinking the week before. So we're in conversations to do a trunk or treat in the park as well, and kind of finish up the year, I think, with our events in the park.
Yeah, which, if everybody doesn't know, you're talking about, Ginny Gillespie and Amber Cotton. And
yes.
they put together a Facebook page
Phenomenal.
called Events in Clayton.
Clayton, yes.
And, so if you're wanting to see, what some of the things they're posting about different events that are coming up, they're gonna be trying to do that
Yes.
on that Facebook page.
Yes. They just, and they even, they're doing posters, and I mean, compared to the posters I was doing, they were probably black and white. I mean, these are fancy, they're just really.
The
having
art
a
times out here from them.
Great time with it. They're just doing a great job, and I think it's just bringing a lot of publicity to the town, and I think we're just gonna continue to grow with these events, have fun. I mean, it was even like the car show, that they've been doing down there for the last few years. It keeps growing, getting new cars, and we're competing with Monrovia. They do a car show on that same day, but, yeah, a lot of people are taking interest, and it's exciting to see that and be a part of that.
One thing I'll ask, with the car show, they blocked off the street, which is, they normally do that every year, but there was not a lot of helpful signage on how to get around.
Yeah.
And with the Parks and Rec having 500 closed for traffic
Right, for
going
that.
that direction, westbound, that complicated it even more. So,
Okay.
when we close streets, there needs to be some kind of preparation on.
There does, 'cause to be
let's
honest with you, they got with
direct
me the
traffic.
day before.
Yeah.
And so,
Right, and
Yeah.
I mean, in years past, I can remember he would come to the board
Yes,
meeting
he'd come to
in
the board
advance
meeting,
and
and
ask.
he would usually
"Can
get
we
with
do
me about a
this?"
month in
Right.
advance, yeah.
And that didn't
And
happen
literally
this
got
time,
called the day
so, right.
before
So
the event.
there were just, people trying to get into town and
Right.
didn't know how to get around their blocked streets, so.
Okay.
But, I got several phone calls that day. How do I get around here? Gee, go back to 40.
It's funny, people have been here so long, they don't
Right.
realize
Yeah.
the blocks they can
Yeah.
take. They're helping out with that as well, usually during the home games as well. That's all I got, guys.
Well, I've,